Thanks everyone and welcome back to the Staff Intern Show. This is the show where we take a look at people working behind the scenes in the music scene in Cape Town and see how music communities work, what the roles are and how people are connected. And today we are dealing with probably the most important role that there is, the doorperson. This is, everyone knows who the doorperson is. It's the one that you try and hustle to get in for free. That you make up stories about your friend being upstairs and you just want to fetch them. Yeah, we know you. We know you. Today we have a friend of mine that I've worked with for many years. Let me just bring her on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Rose of Long Street, the mother of guest lists, Lauren Rose. I'm so glad that you're here. I apologize that, it was a very different show before. Mm-hmm. And, I didn't want to have you associated with that kind of stuff that we were doing, Okay. You're a classy lady.
So.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of classy lady, you look lovely today.
Thank you.
I have to say I'm a big Buffy fan.
You can't do that. It's wrong.
I'm a huge Buffy fan, so thank you for that little...
Just for you. Treats, just for you.
I kind of want to start on that a little bit. You're always a very fashionable person, as long as I've known you.
Thank you.
The tattoos, the shoes, what would you say is your fashion style, and do you think that is it something that adjusts for your work when you're working as a door person, or is that just your normal, kind of everyday vibe?
I think it adjusts more to my mood.
Okay.
However I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling super prissy and feel like being cute, then I'll wear cute little 60s dress with flowers all over it and do batwing eyeliner and be super cute with it. Or if I'm feeling in a heavy hip hop vibe, then I'll probably do some baggy shit and some Jordans. Whatever, it depends. Yeah, it's all about the mood.
Do you secretly judge the people that come up to you at the door?
I always look at the shoes.
The shoes,
yeah,
okay.
Definitely. If you got some nasty ass rock climbing sandals on, I'm gonna give you a hard time.
Okay.
Look. Toenails? Evil toenails.
Now we work together at the waiting room, which is, it's different to other venues in terms of dress code. There's no real rules there, right? It's whatever you're kind of wearing, you can come in, but you might get a little bit of stick at the door. Is that what you're saying? Or just
I might
a little
be
side
a
eye?
bit more sassy, just because I can.
How do you find that the personalities of the people that are coming up to you at the door change depending on the venue? I don't know. You've worked at places other than the waiting room.
Yeah.
How do they change over venues and then also over different nights?
I would say that it's not based on the venues.
Yeah.
I would say that it's more based on the nights, the type of music, who's hosting the party. It's it comes down to even different age groups. If it's a younger person that's hosting the party, then it's going to be a younger group of kids, and then their attitude is going to be I deserve to be here, whatever, I have the right. If it's an older crowd, they obviously have more experience with going out and they know what the deal is, so I get a little more respect, but you would be surprised. Some of the older people, especially men, can be extremely inappropriate and also behave like they're 16, really.
Yeah, I on occasion had to work door. I usually last about 20 to 30 minutes maximum. I'm a very calm person.
It's a fun time.
So there've been occasions where maybe you need to use the bathroom or something, and you're like, Alvin, can you just sit here for a second? And by the time 20 minutes has arrived, I'm at my wit's end. How do you deal with difficult customers?
I usually just shout at them.
Yeah.
Let them know who's boss.
I mean, I know
And
who's
then
boss.
I just shout at them. Yeah.
What's your red line? Like, where's the boundary at?
You know what? It just comes down to like respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, can you respect me as a human being sitting here doing a job? I'm not your friend. I'm not here to be your friend.
Yeah.
Can you just understand that? It's just a respect thing. Like, say hello to me, greet me, acknowledge me as a person.
Right.
That's, it often starts out like that as well. And so the customer sets the precedent for like how our engagement is going to go down.
Okay.
Because I'm going to say, hey, how are you? Whatever. They're going to ask me what party it is if they don't know. If they do know and they give me shit, I like them even less because you know what's up.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me it's just a respect thing, and if I don't feel like I'm being respected as a person, that's going to dictate how we're going to interact with each other now.
You hear that, guys? It's on you.
Yeah, I'm literally sitting there to greet you and take your money and send you on up to have a great time.
Yeah.
Why are you arguing with me?
You know what? That's one of the reasons the show has pivoted in this direction.
Uh-huh.
It's like we want to show that like it's not just the DJs and the artists that are human beings and that are deserving of attention and deserving of respect.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hope it helps. I hope that this, treat everyone you encounter with some respect.
Yeah, we're all just people. Like, there's no need to be shit.
Yeah.
At all.
You guys couldn't tell me apart from a robot? Oh, I don't think I'm a robot. She's very well done.
You were saying that when someone's being difficult and when they're at the door, I'm not your friend.
Yeah.
But sometimes you are, right?
A lot of the time.
So-
Actually, you know what? I
Yes.
should correct myself because I feel like everyone is your friend when you're
Right.
sitting behind that door. Suddenly, but we know each other. But back in the day, this, but you did this, you did it. Great. Thanks for letting me know what it is I did.
So this actually leads into a question I wanted to get into a bit later, but seeing as we're on it, what is it like seeing people that you've met in this capacity as a door person, but you're someone that's out in the music scene a lot, like you really, you into your music.
Yeah.
So what's it like when like you're at another place, you're not working,
Yeah.
and you see someone that you only know maybe from the door? Is the vibe usually good? Are they friendly, or do they forget that they're your friend?
They
now that
absolutely forget.
Yeah.
It's that's what I'm saying. Like, you're everyone's friend when you're sitting behind that counter
In that moment.
at the door,
Yeah.
or whatever door you're sitting at. Everyone knows you. They suddenly know your name and all the things. But yeah, I see a lot of people come in and out of the clubs, and no one would ever come up to me in a club and be like, "Hey, you that chick from Waiting Room? How you doing? Thanks
Never
for hooking me
happens,
up
yeah.
that one time when I
Right.
didn't have enough money," or whatever the case is. That never happens.
Wow.
Never, ever, ever.
Part of what we do here on the show is try and give advice to younger people who are looking to get involved in the music scene in some way, right? And inevitably, you might not be in the role that you think. I know DJs that have started off as door people, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And so just because you might want to do one thing doesn't mean you might not end up in another position.
Yeah.
So let's say someone is going to be a door person. What advice would you give them in terms of how they deal with relationships with people, like being aware of the fact that people might only being nice to you for a particular reason? Like,
Yeah.
how do you get that sense? Does it come over time? Is it like an instinct?
You know what? It's actually really difficult for me, especially. I tend to take things personally.
Okay.
So for me, especially when I feel like I'm not being respected as a person, I take it personal, and then it becomes a personal thing for me.
Okay.
I've blown up at people at the door. I've literally screamed. I've smashed my fists down on the counter.
I'm like a superhero or something.
I've lost my shit completely before.
I've always backed you, though. I will say this: like, if there's ever been a problem, Because I know that
I'm not unnecessary.
Exactly,
I believe I'm not
exactly.
unnecessary.
the customer is not always right.
And there's also, I always create the space for forgiveness. Like if this person feels like, okay, yeah, I was actually shit, let me go and say sorry, cool. There's a space for that. I'm not going to deny you that I'm not a bitch, even though people love to call me a bitch. But
No way.
yeah.
I'll have words. We will not have that. But okay, so
my
yes.
advice, I guess, would be to try and not take things personally.
So you regret those times when you have blown up?
Yeah, because
Even though I
I've
back
exposed
you,
a side of
I'm on your
myself
side.
that I don't necessarily need to or want to expose, but I do get pushed to that point. So yeah, my advice would be that always have a drink with you because you're going to need it.
Okay.
And I guess also take it as an opportunity to meet people, you know, and to make friends and that sort of stuff. Because I've made friends with a lot of people just by working at the door and being cool and, you know, I guess chilled with everyone.
Yeah, super down. Speaking of meeting people, we like to, you know, we've moved away from our serious side, but we still like to get a little gossipy. You know, talk about relationships. You've got an amazing man in your life at the moment.
I do.
What are some of the difficulties when you're working, like, you know, late nights at a club? Or what are the things that are easier? You said meeting people is easier, right?
Yeah.
But what are some of the things that are a bit harder, being in a relationship and then working in nightlife? Because, you know, let's say they're working a day job. Yeah, it's Grant.
Yes, Grant. He works a day job.
He works a day job, and your weekends you're working.
Yeah.
Maybe not the whole weekend, but does it cut in? Is it difficult,
I
or are
mean,
there other difficulties?
Yeah, it does cut in a little bit. I try and balance it, so I'd work like every day one weekend, and then just work one night one weekend,
Okay.
and then I would. Luckily, I have two younger brothers that are also keen to just make a buck and also, you know, want to be on the scene and check it out and feel it out and whatever. So I used to split some of my shifts with them.
Shout out to the homies.
Shout out to Caleb and Ethan.
Caleb and Ethan.
Ethan's all the way in Scotland. And Caleb's moved to Joburg now. But
He's gonna be famous, right? That guy. He's
Who's
a star.
Caleb. Yeah.
I saw him acting in
My
something.
entire family.
I mean, this is awesome too.
So
you
try
share
and
with them?
share with them and balance it out. In terms of being in a relationship and that dynamic, especially when my partner comes to the place where I'm working, it can cause a little bit of conflict, I guess, because he doesn't like to see people treating me like shit,
Right.
obviously, and he doesn't like to see me getting upset. And then he wants to step in, and then it's kind of like, but you can't do that because the venue is a brand and the people hosting the party is a brand, and I'm working for essentially both of these brands, so I'm representing them and all of that sort of stuff. So that can be difficult, but
and also, you know, you've got experience in managing people. Like, you've got a sense of how do I deal with this person, because you've dealt with a person like that many times.
I've worked in the restaurant industry for the longest time as well, and that's
My hat has a cow.
managing a team of people, for instance, that come from all different places in Africa, you know, and it's the cultural differences and getting them to get along and managing that and whatever. So I like to believe that I have great interpersonal relationship skills, and I can pick up on those little like things and, you know, what people need and how they would like to be, I suppose, pandered to, or like, you know, treat. You can tell you learn to pick up on those
You know,
things.
people don't often appreciate that. Like you said, the Doorperson is the face of your event, the face of your venue. The way they deal with people is the way people perceive that
What's
whole thing.
happening, yeah.
And it's so important for that person to have not just the, qualities of trust because they're dealing with money, but interpersonal skills, so important.
Yeah.
You know, yes, there's security and there's bounces, but often you don't want it to get to that point where they have to get involved. And so, yeah, it's an incredible job, and you do it well.
Thank you.
Let's take a little break. Speaking of jobs, we've got to pay bills. We're going to cut to a commercial. Lauren, please stick around for a bit. We'll be back with the Staff Entrance Show right after this break.
God claims the life of a child, immediately we turn to our loved ones, husbands, wives, parents, pep-peps, step-peppers, and we ask why. Why was someone with so much promise stolen from us? Why couldn't he have taken someone older, like a man I know named Greg Pitterman?
Have you lost your son?
He was so young.
What if I told you that you could have your son back?
What? Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Gorb. And I'm here to introduce the Cinco Boy from Cinco. You know, from the makers of my new Pep Pep. Cinco Boy is almost identical to your original son. All the difference is, he's better. As years go by, your Cinco Boy will be replaced with older Cinco Boys, and you can continue owning your Cinco Boy for as long as you live. Wouldn't that be nice?
Cinco Boy from Cinco.
Thank you. Welcome back to the Staff Infant Show. We're here with the lovely Lauren Rose, chatting about what it's like to work at the door of a nightclub, the Doorperson. Yay, important role. You also
role.
you do many other things, and we'll get into those a bit later. But before we had the break, we were talking about relationships, and I wanted to talk about a different kind of relationship. So you're sitting there at the door and you're watching people go up for the night. Are you ever thinking, I wonder how that particular person who you might not know, I wonder how their night's going? Or maybe you see another person and you're like, I wonder if those two are going to vibe. Because, you know, they seem like what's going through your mind? Or are they out of sight, out of mind once they passed?
I think it depends. Like, if it's an interesting character or somebody who's like trying to have a conversation or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it totally depends. It depends on where these people have come from, what they've been doing, what their vibes are. Sometimes it is like, you know, somebody's out on a Tinder date or something.
Right.
And you can kind of tell. You can tell, like, the girl kind of, like, pulls out her money and she's like, and then the guy's like, oh,
No, I've got
this one. I got this one. You get a lot of that, and that's really cute to see. But you also see, I don't know, you see people arguing, girlfriends coming down the stairs crying, the boyfriend's running after her. It's I don't often like think about, you know, what they're going to get up to.
When you do see those things, do you find it interesting? Like,
I think it's cute.
Okay.
I think it's, especially like when you can tell people are out on like one of their first dates and they come into uppercut.
I used to DJ at Hank's on a Wednesday night. We played like soul music, and you could tell the Tinder dates as well. It was so easy, and I would get in my smooth bag, you know.
Oh, I know the smooth bag. Grant and I came on one of our first dates to a Soul Good, and we really enjoyed it.
It turned out pretty well for you.
It became one of his favorite vibes on a Wednesday night, for real.
I've had a couple of thumbs up from the dates as they were leaving.
Yep.
Leaving early.
Hey.
What are you doing? My boyfriend. Go away.
Speaking of music that you enjoy, you've dabbled a bit in music as well,
I've
right?
dabbled.
I remember the Exorcist. Tell us a bit. What was that about? Because the audience might not know.
The Exorcist is, okay. Basically, I grew up with a foster family, and my foster sister and I started this little rap duo, I guess. And we called it the Exorcisters, and that was kind of like a play on the fact that we were foster sisters, and we were into like dark sort of grimy stuff. We were very into a local rap group called the League of Shadows.
Oh yeah, shout out to League of Shadows.
Yeah, and
Garlic Brown, Gambino,
and
Midas,
Bradlocks Vans.
Bradlocks. Ooh, great MCs.
So we were hanging out with them quite a lot, and so I guess we picked up a lot on like their style, and we were into like dark stuff and whatever. So the Exorcist was like a fitting name.
Right.
And it was kind of just like a fun thing that the two of us would do in our bedrooms. And a friend of ours was, he was a producer, Stefan Wyeth. I can't remember what his DJ name was.
His name sounds familiar. Shout out Stefan Wyeth.
Holla. Yeah, and so it was like a fun little thing. And one Halloween, I think it was 2017.
Okay.
It may have been earlier than that.
Spooky. Halloween.
We did a little video flyer for a party that we were throwing.
Okay.
And it was going to be a Halloween party called Fright Night.
Nice.
And
I mean, you're wearing the Buffy shirt. It
fits. It all fits.
On brand.
And so and that was kind of like the start of it. Was just like this little promotional video that we wanted to do. Kyla's partner at the time was a cinematographer, and so he shot it for us. And we literally emptied out my entire bedroom, my bed, and everything was. I had like a little outside bedroom.
Okay.
Everything was outside underneath the washing line, and we got a smoke machine.
Nice.
And a bunch of kids that were studying at AFTER with Kyla. And we put them all in the room, and we pumped the room full of smoke.
I swear, it's not what it looks like. It's magic weed.
And we had a strobe, and that was basically our little music video. And it was like a little rap joint. And
it's still online?
It's still online.
Nice.
It's called You Lie, You Die. You can go check it out. Lol. And it was cool. It was also at the time of, Odd Future and all of those guys coming out, who were also very inspired by their like dark, twisted rap content. And there was another guy, Space Ghost Perp.
I know Space Ghost
And we were
Perp,
really into his sound. So we kind of mimicked that a little bit as well. That like sort of droney, lo-fi, like bassy sort of beat. And then just these two little girls like yapping over the track.
And
it was fun.
And the event, what was that vibe?
It didn't actually turn out to be like a huge thing. It bombed. The venue that we got cancelled on us on the night.
Oh, no way.
Literally like an hour before. So then we just went to a friend's house, and like it became like a little rave.
Like a house party.
Yeah, and that was it. It was in OBS.
Are there other areas of music that you've thought about exploring?
There were at one point I was studying.
Because you've heard a lot of sets.
Yeah.
From a distance, but
I have.
Yeah.
At one point I was studying electronic music production at SAE, but then I think I learned. Fletcher was actually my lecturer.
Shout out to Fletcher.
Yeah.
For the viewers that aren't that familiar, check out African Dope Records, seminal Cape Town label. He
was a phenomenal guy, and he just the way he taught was also so great. Like I still know how to use all the software. Ableton was the one that he taught us on. And so that was something that I was into at one point, but then it kind of just fizzled out, I guess. I was at Assembly Radio, working at an online radio store.
Right.
Shout out.
Hey, Assembly
Kevin
Radio.
Kai. And
we had Uppercut had a show on there with Fiance Knowles, who I think we are gonna have on the show at some point.
Yes, you have to get it.
And I remember one day the two of you did a takeover.
We did.
I think I have audio of that.
And then that takeover actually birthed our little radio show, which was called the Tupperware Party.
So you've hosted a radio show with you did one on your own as well, and then you did one with Fiance.
I didn't do one on my own.
Okay.
No. We just did that takeover.
And that's what got you into
And that's
radio.
what got us to, that birthed our radio show called the Tupperware Party.
Right.
Which was like all about women and, women empowerment and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to be like, bra burning crazy girls. It was just...
Oh, it's not a gay thing.
It was just aimed at females. And
Okay.
so we would get like whatever females were women that were doing things at the time, and we got them on, and yeah, it was just about celebrating us.
I like that idea.
It was fun.
And also, but you know, I like that. It's fantastic. I saw an interesting article on the internet. A friend of the show's, Alex Michaelson, hosts an event called Prime.
Yes.
And they recently got interviewed by, I think Is Yours magazine, I can't be certain. And he got interviewed, sorry, by
Okay.
Is Yours magazine. And they asked him about shout-outs. And, you know, he shouted out a bunch of people. But one of the people he mentioned was you.
Oh.
And he said, shout out to Lauren Rose in the beginning for giving me some really great advice.
No, I haven't seen this.
This is true. It's on the internet. We can go look it up. And I mean, his parties have just taken off completely since then. Like I would say it's one of the best parties in the city right now. What advice did you give him, and why didn't you give me the advice?
I don't know what advice he was talking about. I'm gonna have to go and see this.
Okay, you don't remember talking to him at all, or like, because you
What
know,
did he say?
you'd been you just said thank you, Lauren Rose, for giving me advice early on.
Oh.
You know what? Think about it over the break.
Yeah,
Let's see if we
yeah.
can figure that
I'll
out.
do that.
We'll try and work this out. All right, we'll be back. We're going to take a little commercial break. Back with Lauren Rose after this.
Don't go anywhere.
If you are thinking of going into this house, don't. If you are thinking of opening this door, don't. If you are thinking of checking out the basement, don't look behind, don't look either, don't look up, don't look anywhere, don't scream for help, don't move don't even breathe. Don't. If you are thinking of seeing this film alone, don't.
Welcome back, guys. Sorry, I just the Buffy T-shirt. It's got me. Lauren with the fashion,
I did the
always.
things. I did the things.
Yeah, we couldn't actually think about what the advice was that.
Yeah, it must have been something along the lines of like, don't get caught up in the hype. Focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
You stay true to what you're doing. You know what your goals are and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It must have been like,
In general,
I'm so wise.
you really are. I know I'm laughing, but you are. We must have been doing Uppercut together for about 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Every week, pretty much. You're there.
Yeah.
You're seeing people. You're seeing them change over time, right? What are some of the things that you notice, like? So maybe not so much giving advice to someone who wants to work in your position, but people who are interested in nightlife and are going out a lot. Any things that you notice, like, because I found for me, like, when you get to observe people over a period of time, you pick up on behavior changes for good or for bad.
Yeah.
Is there anyone here that hasn't slept together?
I think, especially with people that, have been coming to the parties that I've been working at consistently for that for as long as maybe 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
They get I don't know if I'm answering the question here, but there's
Yes,
like a sense of comfortability, and then they start behaving like, you know, they have certain rights because they've been coming for so long.
Okay.
And it's like, dude, at the end of the day, it's still your choice. Like, nobody asked you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm answering the
So
question.
I guess what you're saying is like, you know, don't get complacent
And
in the way you
don't-
treat people.
Yeah, and don't, you just remember that it's a privilege. It's not a right. We're all doing a job. We're all,
Yeah.
you know, creating a space for you to come and enjoy, and we invite you with open arms to come and enjoy, but don't cause kak.
What are the worst excuses that you hear for people who don't want
Oh
to pay?
God, I know who the DJ is. He's my cousin. Do you think I just turn around and go, now can I take the 100 rand from your cousin's pay? No, I don't think that's it. Well, where must the money come from?
Uh-huh. Hey, someone's got...
Those are the excuses. Like, I know the DJ.
Right.
But then it's like you get a group of 3 people that come, they all know the DJ. You're like, okay, cool, the DJ does have a few guest lists. What's
Right.
like, and then you get another group, but I'm also on the guest list, but no, you're not.
Yeah.
So what must happen now?
What must happen? How can promoters help you do your job better, right? In terms of maybe like, you know, when people come up to the door and maybe they don't know what's going on, you've got to explain a night.
I don't think that's an issue.
Okay.
I think in terms of how promoters can make my job easier, if you're basing somebody that they're going to be on the guest list, make damn sure they're on the guest list. Please don't make me look like an asshole.
Right. Now
And
you're the villain.
Also, don't try and be cool when you're like out with your friends and you're meeting this one. Yeah, I got this party, you must come through. Don't say that to people, because that gives
Because
them
they
the
believe
sense
you.
that they're on the guest list.
Right.
Oh no, so-and-so told me to come through. Oh, cool. Well, it's 50 rand or 80 rand or whatever. No, but they told me. Oh, I'm sure they told a lot of people to come through.
I think what people don't realize
That's
is
how it works.
sometimes it's not even about the money for the person that's coming there. It's like you want to look good in front of the person you're
Everyone wants
with,
to feel special.
right? And now this other person is telling you, no, you're not special.
Yeah.
And it's not your fault, right? It's the
I
promoter
didn't get
guy.
the piece of paper with your name on it. It's not my fault. Talk to the person who invited you, please. WhatsApp them.
When you're not doing events, when you're not working events, what kind of events do you like to go to? What's like a great night out for Lauren Rose?
It's
What are you looking for?
changed over the years.
Of course it does.
I'm not being biased, but when I wasn't working for Uppercut was a favorite. You know. What other kind of things? I liked swim parties as well, but then I started working for them too.
Right.
And
So you kind of work at all your faves.
yeah, and private life as well.
Okay.
I really used to enjoy that.
What is it about those events that appeal to you?
The crowd and the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm in, hip hop's like a favorite for me. And I also really like disco house, that like funky, jazzy, funky sort of up-tempo dancey vibe.
Yeah.
Which Private Life definitely brought.
Yeah, shout out
and
Private Life.
The Three Must Get Funked series of Uppercut, that was a big favorite, and I used to try and not work on those nights. Get Ethan or Caleb in there. It just.
And when you say the crowd, what is it about a crowd that you're looking for when you
my
go out?
age group. My age group. I don't want to be stared at by a 17-year-old who managed to sneak themselves in and.
I'm Dracula.
Get out.
It just gets uncomfortable, and I.
Listen,
you know
I'm gonna show some sympathy for that 17-year-old. I understand. Maybe if you didn't dress so fly,
No, that's not my fault. That's not my fault. And also, there's a way to approach people, and there's a way to do it. Don't be a creep.
Okay.
Come now. If you want to talk to someone, just talk to them. Hey, my name's so and so. How are you? You look like somebody I'd like to chat to. Cool.
Okay. What is, because we're in this weird COVID stage still. We're kind of at the end of it, so I guess you're not really working doors right now.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
what other things have you
Well,
got
when
going
this COVID
on?
thing hit,
You were tattooing for a bit?
I was never tattooing.
You were working,
That
sorry.
is a common misconception about me.
You guys
I
might be
do
able to see this,
not
but Lauren
make
has
tattoos.
a lot of tattoos.
I don't make them. I can hook you up with somebody who does, but I don't make
You
them.
worked in a tattoo shop for a bit,
I did.
right?
I worked in 2 different tattoo shops. So I do know the industry, and in Cape Town it's so small.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of the guys that are tattooers, and I know a lot about the tattooing industry and where to go and who you could go to for whatever kind of things you want or whatever. Because that was my job. My job was to book people and match them with an artist that could do the thing that they wanted.
Right. Do you see a strong connection between music and tattooing?
I don't know if I personally feel a connection. I mean, obviously, if there's something that I'm getting tattooed that has a connection to music or a song or an artist,
you've got a
or
Wu-Tang
whatever.
tattoo.
I've got a Wu-Tang tattoo. It's the Peanuts. It's from the Peanuts. It's the record player with a little Wu symbol coming out of it. And I had that hand poked, actually, by Irish James, Seamus. He used to work at Sins of Saudi. He has his own studio now.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah.
Shout out Seamus. I have no tattoos though, so. But shout out anyway.
He's a cool dude. And then I have a Prince tribute tattoo. I have this little purple rain drop.
Okay, cool.
And I got a little beauty spot on the side of my cheek, which was a tribute to Prince as well, because he had one there in the same spot.
Do you have a tattoo? Or just a beauty mark?
No, it's a tattoo.
No, you have one, but was
Prince was a beauty mark.
Oh, okay.
And mine's a tattoo.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are you working in that field still, or what else is going on?
I'm not working in that field. There's so much politics around the tattoo industry in Cape Town because it's so small.
Right.
And also being the only female working with a whole bunch of dudes, you kind of end up playing mom, and it's exhausting.
Actually, that brings me a little bit back to working the door. And it tends to be women who do it. I know, with us it was a bit different because, like you said, your brothers would help you out.
Well, the waiting room never had an issue with whatever gender working behind the door. Some places I've worked at prefer women.
Why is that? Have any idea? Or
who doesn't want to see a pretty girl at the club when they walk in?
Okay.
And most people have probably had pre-drinks, and to be honest, it's like to appease men. That's what it is. Literally.
I mean, I was hoping it would be something like, women can resolve conflict better, but I think you're right.
I think we just add fuel to the fire. Well, I do.
Well, thank you for bringing the fire, Lauren Rose.
Always. I bring it to you every time.
It's been actually so lovely catching up with you because, we would see each other once a week.
Yeah, and now we haven't seen each other for 5 months.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a fat chat after this. But thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank everybody at home for watching our live studio audience. You're a fashion expert. Don't they look fly?
They look fly. They look fly.
Okay, guys, thanks again. Please join us again for the staff entrance show. Love you all. Bye.